All right, this is a short and sweet video on how to write your lab report properly if you haven't got a 5 out of 5 on this. Let's see. First thing first, write your name here, right? I hope you know that. Uh, the first element that you see in this lab report, this is a very simple lab report, guys. When you actually write a lab report for a real thing, it will be more than few pages. But this is just an introduction, so we're gonna just keep it very simple. Um, so yeah, the first thing is the objective. And in objective, you basically write what's the goal, what's the purpose of your lab. So for example, in our case, it was when we did the egg drop, it was to make an egg landing device which can survive a crash and keep the egg safe. That was our goal. We were basically building up a device in which we put the egg and drop it from a height, and hopefully when it hits the ground, the egg should still be safe. That was our main goal in this. Then the second thing is the material use. So this is where you list all the items that you use, like straws, cups, whatever. You list all the items basically in this category. Then comes the introduction. Introduction is important, guys. Introduction is that part of your lab report which, if I read only the introduction, I should have a good idea about what you did in the whole lab report. So this should include at least 3 things in it. First, what's your main goal? So you're basically writing your objective again, but in a different way, just in a different sentence. So one sentence should be for the main goal. Then you should write one sentence about the design that you made, like how you made your egg landing device, something about the design, what you used, what was the main idea, and then one sentence about the conclusion, like what happened, did the egg break or not, or we learned something from it, or whatever was the main gist or conclusion of the project that you think. You put that. So at least 3 sentences should be there in your introduction. I don't want to see don't break the egg, and that's it. So yeah, 3 sentences in your introduction should be there. What about procedure? This is where you talk about how you made your design. So for example, you might have started with a foundation first, and then you wrapped it with some stuff to make it like have a cushion effect. So you write all that down here, like complete sentences, not like just I put the egg in the cup. We put the egg in the cup to make it more stable. Then we added some cushion to it using straws or made it more stable. So whatever you say, you make sure you explain why you did what you did. And then you could be like, I used a parachute airbag. I used a plastic bag as a parachute to give to slow down the speed of the fall. So you tell what you did, but also tell why you did that. So that's how you form complete sentences. So for example, in this the third sentence would be like, yeah. So I used, or we used, if it's a group project, we used a plastic bag on top of our design to have a parachute effect that slows down the speed of the device. So something like that, it's not a perfect sentence, but you know what I mean. Like you need to write long sentences that explains what you did and why you did it, not just like don't break the egg, I put a egg in the cup. That doesn't make sense, because if I just read this, I should be able to make the same design as you did, is the key idea. Then the next part is where you whatever data you collected, so whatever your design weighs, you put there, like you put it on the scale and see how many grams it was. This is where you record the time of the fall, like how much time it took from when you dropped it till the time it hit the ground. So this is gonna be like less than 1 second most probably. So you record these 2 times and then you take the average by adding them together and dividing it by 2. So if you have like say 0.2 seconds, 0.4 seconds, you add 0.2 plus 0.4 divided by 2, that gives you 0.3 seconds as the average. Okay, and this is perhaps the most important part of your lab report. This is where I want to see your scientific observations. So what did you observe when you saw the thing falling down? So when your object was falling down, what did you observe? Did it go in straight line? Did it tilt? Was it fast? Was it slow? What worked? What didn't work? So these are the places where you make some scientific observation, guys. It could be qualitative or quantitative, but you talk about what you observed as a scientist when you're doing this experiment. Again, this is not an art project. We're not just trying to save the egg. I can buy the egg from Hannaford. I don't need to save it. The idea is that you learn how to design an instrument and then how to observe that instrument in action. Okay, and then you say whether the egg broke or not, yes or no, and then it's not just important whether it broke or not. I don't care if it broke or not. What I care is why. Why did it break or why didn't break? And then you summarize your learning, whatever you learned from all this project. This should again be at least one sentence. So write a lot. Please explain me your thoughts. And yeah, so let me give you an example here. For example, I observed that the parachute airbag made the fall slower and prevented the egg from crashing. So something like that, what you observed and what effect you saw of that. Hopefully that should give you a good idea about how to write your lab report, and resubmit it if you need to, and let's hope to get you a 5 out of 5. All right, take care guys, see you